Airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock. He hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it. The Ducks have won.
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Oregon's a Fiesta Bowl champion in a 12-win season.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
It's a Friday. We're getting ready for Senior Day for Oregon men's basketball, and we'll break down last night's contest. Man, it's just a real gut punch for the Ducks. I felt that way post-game. I'm sure that the Ducks felt that way in the locker room. Just a few defensive miscues, a few shots that didn't go, and well, that's the difference in a ball game sometimes, isn't it? A 79-75 win for Colorado over the Ducks. But the good news is, if there is such a thing after a loss, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Beavs got a win, which means that the Ducks are the 4 seed in Vegas anyway. So, look, the Beavs got the win over Utah. And so as a result, the Ducks are locked into the 4 seed in Las Vegas. That means they will play at 2:30 next Thursday. They will not play in the quarterfinal round. No, they will not play in the first round. They will play in the quarterfinal round automatically, and the Ducks will play as the 4 seed, the winner of the 5-12 game. They'll be the second game of the afternoon session instead of the evening session for the Pac-12 tournament. So we know that now. Would the Ducks like to be the 3 seed? Yeah. Would you have liked to gotten the win over Colorado? Yeah. But still, getting a bye in the first round is a really big deal, especially I think with Oregon's depth this year. I mean, in last night's contest, N'Faly Dante is so good. Like, we know that, right? N'Faly Dante is so good. But the fact is that Dante in 36 minutes, Mo Diawara only ended up playing 2 minutes in the game for the Ducks. So really it was a 7-man rotation. It's hard to win 3 straight games. It's really hard to win 4 straight games in 4 straight days. Ducks have done it before, don't get me wrong, but it's more likely that the Ducks can win the Pac-12 tournament if they had that bye, and they do have that bye. So did last night stink? Yes. Do the Ducks need to win the Pac-12 tournament now in order to get into the NCAA tournament? Probably. But they've got a bye, and now here's to Senior Day, because how hard did N'Faly Dante, Jermaine Couisnard play in that game last night? I mean, you could see the 17 points from Jermaine Couisnard, who, by the way, was ill earlier this week. He did not practice on Tuesday. And then N'Faly Dante scoring 20 points, 12 rebounds, and we're going to hear from Dante coming up. So that's what happened after last night. A heck of a game. Jackson Shellstad scored a career high, scored the first 7 that the Ducks had on the board. Some good things, but Colorado's a good team. Get a win on Senior Day, a little momentum heading into Vegas, and then let's just go win the darn thing. Easy. Hey, softball schedule update as well. We're going to talk more basketball coming up. With the threat of inclement weather later in the weekend, the Ducks are going to play a doubleheader today. 3 o'clock is when things start. So if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, 3 o'clock for Game 1, 6 o'clock for Game 2, Oregon against Cal, Pac-12 opener here in Eugene, and then the Saturday game will stay on schedule for 2 p.m. The Ducks will reschedule the pink game for later in the season, the cancer awareness game. That will be rescheduled later, but it looks like the weather is going to stink on Sunday, and so the Ducks and the Golden Bears said, well, let's just play 2 Friday, and I was actually over on campus earlier. It's beautiful today. Absolutely gorgeous. 61 degrees. It's going to be outstanding at the Jane. Look forward to seeing all of you at Jane Sanders Stadium tonight. Also in action this evening, Oregon baseball. We're going to talk with Ryan Milano coming up in about a half an hour. He is live on the scene from Phoenix, where the Ducks will take on Arizona State. It's a 5:30 first pitch, 5:15 is when the pregame show starts. And then Oregon indoor track and field in action today. We'll have some updates. Follow along on social media. Going to hear from Jaden Mays talking a bit about the NCAA track and field championships today and tomorrow for the Ducks. So there's your softball schedule update. Standing scenarios. We're also going to hear a bit from Missy Lombardi, Ariel Carlson today. All right, basketball. So what happened in the game? Well, the Ducks got out to as much of as a 12-point lead. At the 12:44 mark in the first half, it was 18-6. Couple turnovers. I think Jackson Shellstad would be the first to tell you a couple turnovers, couple possessions that the Ducks would like back. So, yeah, that happens. But the Ducks had opportunities to close that game out. And in fact, in Boulder, Oregon led with 9 minutes to go. Ended up losing by 16. This game wasn't that. But Colorado made free throws down the stretch. Say what you will about fouls. Made free throws down the stretch. And the Ducks had a couple blunders defensively, truthfully. As Dana Altman said when he talked with me on the postgame show last night. The Ducks just had some blunders defensively. Buffs closed the game making 6 of 8 field goals. Tristan Da Silva scored 22, and I thought really Hadley scoring 20 and having 4 threes, I think all in the second half, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, all in the second half. Javon Hadley hitting those threes I thought was the difference maker in the game. In fact, I said going in that if the Ducks won points off turnovers and they kept it close in the rebounding battle, I thought Oregon would win the game. The Ducks won the points off turnovers battle 21-13, but they lost the rebounding battle 36-24. Against a team in Colorado that averaged plus 7.7 in rebounding margin coming in. They're a good rebounding squad, but that rebound number continues to be a real key in the Coach Altman era here at Oregon. So Ducks are still looking for their 20th win of the season. By the way, if the Ducks get a win on Saturday, because Belmont won in its tournament yesterday, there are now 3 teams in the last 14 years that have had 20 wins each of the last 14 years. The Ducks would be the 4th. Dana Altman has won 20 games every year he's been the head coach at Oregon. There's only 4 teams in that period of time that have done that if the Ducks pick up their 20th win. When the Ducks pick up their 20th win. Senior Day tomorrow, 4 o'clock. We'll break down the schedule ahead, but I want to let you listen a little bit of the takeaways from Coach Altman and Volley Dante. They talked with the media postgame. Let's start with Coach Altman.
Oh, my God. We made so many defensive mistakes for, what is today, March 10th? What the hell is it? 7th. Just gave them baskets. I mean, we had 7 turnovers, had 13 points on. We just layups, not grabbing some rebounds. We got beat 12 on the boards and just made a lot of defensive mistakes, especially the second half. First half, Dante probably wasn't aggressive enough in the middle. Second half, Dante played unbelievable defense, offense. Obviously didn't give him the ball 10 for 10. I know he had a couple turnovers, but he played his tail off. But we made a lot of defensive mistakes second half. First half, some, but second half, a lot of their threes were our defensive mistakes. So disappointed. We had our opportunity. And so, again, I hate it for Dante. He played so hard and played so well. Again, I'm going to say it. They push on him all night. It's embarrassing what he has to endure. I mean, they got 2 hands in the back pushing on him. So, those things are part of the game. He played a great 36 minutes. We rested him 4. You can see on the plus minus when he was in there, we were plus 7. And so he had pretty good minutes. But we're just going to have to bounce back on Saturday. I don't know how the games will come out tonight to know, if we can get 4th or not. I'm not sure how all those tiebreakers go and everything, but I know one thing, we got to win.
Do you feel like offensively you maybe pressed a little bit when the defense wasn't clicking on and trying to make up?
Well, Yeah, I mean, certain guys did for sure, but again, we're execution. Again, you shoot 53%. I know we missed some threes. We only shot 30% from three, but you shoot 53% at home and you score 75 points, you ought to win the game. Okay, and if you look at our stats, but you get beat 12 on the boards, and fortunately they didn't take real advantage of that. 11-8 on second chance points, but I know there were 5 big ones in the second half. In a 1 possession, 2 possession game, everyone counts. So again, those are things, and we didn't get a break. Down the stretch there, Jackson takes that one up and missed one there. So just is what it is.
Anything in particular in that 9-0 run they had there with about 5 minutes left, defensively, anything that they
Well, Dante had the turnover for a layup, and then bam, tips one out for a layup. He just grabbed the ball, and then we left a 3-point shooter on one of them. So that's 7 of the points. I can't remember the other one, but I do remember those 7.
Do you see anything different in Jackson in these games where he, seems to be feeling it really early versus the games where he's?
I don't know. He got a couple shots down early and got it going. Got a couple shots down early at Arizona, but then it didn't. But no, any shooter, you get a couple down early, and it always helps. And so I thought he did a really good job there, being aggressive when he knew the shots were going, and got some pretty good looks.
Coach Altman breaking it all down. Not a lot to say. Look, the Ducks had chances. And with the rotation the way that it's been, when Dante was on the floor, Oregon was really good. And it's tough with that rotation. I don't have any other way to slice it, It's kind of been that year where the Ducks have had so many injuries in games. Now, winning on Senior Day, though, a big deal. We're going to get a timeout. When we come back, let's hear from N'Faly Dante. Also, we'll look at the scenarios. What the heck's going to happen? We know that the Ducks are the 4 seed. What does that mean? We're going to figure that out when we come back on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Imagine all the fun you can have this spring break in a new Toyota. Woo-hoo! I'm having fun and I'm not even there.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends April 1st.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Imagine all the fun you can have this spring break in a new Toyota. Woo-hoo! I'm having fun and I'm not even there.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends April 1st.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. He sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself.
For many military veteran caregivers, their caregiving journey starts earlier in life and lasts longer. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, it's Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. So in Folly Dante, you're going to hear the passion in his voice post-game. I mean, this is a guy that gives it all the time. You heard Coach Altman. Look, I see it too. Guys are physical with N'Faly Dante in the post. Because if they're not, Dante's going to win the battle every time. I know that. We all know that. Dante plays like an All-American when he's healthy. Reigning All-Pac-12 first-team center from a year ago. You'll hear it in his voice. He wants to finish this season strong, even after the hiccup for the Ducks last night. Here's N'Faly Dante.
Coach has multiple times the last couple of weeks has gone out and said how frustrated he's getting by how much contact you have to take and how much you have to play through and not getting calls. How frustrating is this for you as a player? How much, like, you have to play through it, you know, but is it getting frustrating for you personally?
Sorry about that. Can you repeat the last part?
Is it getting frustrating for you where coaches talked about that you're just not getting a lot of foul calls, that the defenses are laying on you, hitting you, and you're just not getting a lot of calls? Is that becoming frustrating for you?
I mean, it's kind of suck, you know, but to me, I don't get mad at it anymore because, I mean, since I was freshman, that's what happened, to be honest. But I can't waste my energy on that ref. That I can't let my teammate down. Just gotta go through it, and then end of the day, it's just basketball. Everybody make mistake like a ref. They probably can't see it, but it just sucked out. When I try to play defense, they call a foul on me, but when they hitting me, they don't call it. It's kind of suck, but it is what it is.
You guys knew kind of what was on the line tonight, and the way you started, it seemed like you kind of answered the bell early. Some breakdowns, obviously, in the second half defensively. Just what'd you think of the effort overall, and you know how frustrating is the outcome?
I'm just gonna say everybody play hard. I had no doubt about that, but we just didn't like we just missed some position. We should take it off of that, and then it would help us win. But end of the day, we all made a mistake. I missed a couple of rebounds. They hit three of it, so I can't just be mad at anybody but myself.
What's Saturday going to mean for you? Your last home game, your time here, wrapping this up.
I mean, we just gotta win the game first. Everything come after that, and my mindset was just win today and then win Saturday, and then think about after. You can think about two things at one time, you know. So I just hope I can do anything to help my team win, and that'll be great for me for sure.
What a team guy. I mean, how do you not root for him? And look, basketball's a physical sport. Like, sometimes you're going to get calls, you're not, you know, I like that he just was like, look, I'm not going to waste my energy on that. You know, that's an honest response from a guy that has played an awful lot of meaningful minutes for the Ducks. And that's a team-first mentality. You know, he's not going to blame anybody. He's going to say, hey, I missed a couple of rebounds. I'm going to be the one that gets this done. Yeah, that's a senior. That's a veteran. And I hope that everybody's going to come out tomorrow when the Ducks face Utah because, one, the crowd can make a huge difference, give Oregon a little momentum here heading on the road. Two, man, N'Faly Dante, give him that round of applause post-game when we go through the post-game ceremony for the seniors. Just, yes! Like, that infectious personality has sure meant an awful lot. So, the standings. Here's where things sit after all the action last night. So, Arizona's going to win the league. Shocking. 15-4 in conference. Washington State lost to Washington at home. 14-6 now for the Cougs. Colorado is 12-7. You know, yes, Oregon could tie the Buffs, but the Buffs own the head-to-head now. They're 2-0 against Oregon. So the Ducks are locked into the 4th spot. 11-8 conference record for Oregon, hoping to make that 12-8 with a win over Utah, who is right behind Oregon in the standings, but by virtue of the loss to Oregon State 92-85 last night, Utah is 9-10 in conference. The best the Utes can finish is 10-10. The worst Oregon can finish is 11-9. That means that the Utes cannot catch the Ducks. Oregon is the 4 seed. The Ducks will play on Thursday in the Pac-12 tournament, a 2:30 approximate tip time. The Ducks are the second game of the session, so I'll be preparing for an hour-and-a-half long pregame show in case that 1 versus 8-9 game goes into triple overtime. You see that in the women's tournament? Heck of a game. I was feeling for the broadcasters though coming up later on. Put the standings back up if you could, Scott. Sorry. Anyway, I digress. But where it can get really wild, Utah, UCLA are both 9-10, and then Washington and Cal are 9-11, and then Arizona State is 8-11. Stanford's 8-12. Like that 5 through 10 is just wonky. Just wonky. That's the Pac-12 for you. There is a possibility that we will finish this thing with only 4 teams with an above 500 record, right? Because Utah, UCLA's got to play at Arizona or against Arizona State. Utah loses to Oregon. Washington is already wrapped, as they say. The hay is in the barn. Cal is wrapped. The hay is in the barn. Yeah, so the only teams that could be 500 now are Utah and UCLA. Well, if both of those teams lose, we are talking about a Pac-12 conference that the 4 teams that get buys are the only ones with winning records in the league this year, which I think speaks to the depth of the league. I won't forget this. Coach Altman said on Tip-Off Tuesday when I asked him about the schedule, when I asked him about the Pac-12, when I asked him, what's your assessment of the league? And he said, well, everybody's getting better. Well, look at USC. USC just won last night. USC's got Isaiah Collier healthy, and suddenly they're really talented again. Boogie Ellis is good. He'll beat you any night. Anyway, if Oregon gets a win and Arizona State gets a win, we're going to be sitting here with 4 teams that have winning records, and nobody will have a 500 record. Now, Utah and UCLA could both finish with 500 records, and then the tiebreaker will decide who's in that 5 spot. But that matters for the Ducks because there's a high likelihood here that Oregon plays Utah again in the Pac-12 tournament. If the Utes, say the Ducks get the win, and UCLA loses, both of those teams are 9-11, then it's chaos after that because you got Washington and Cal that are maybe all, and in that case, Arizona State would also be 9-11. The point I'm making is the Ducks could play Utah, UCLA, Washington, Cal, or Arizona State, depending on how the tiebreakers and all these things work out. To be honest, I have to go back and see if that's accurate. They would all have the same record, but I don't remember if there's any tiebreakers that forbid anybody from moving up. Anyway, things get a little bit nutty, which is the Pac-12, isn't it? What a swan song for this iteration of the league. It's just a good send-off for all of us. Yeah, the standings are going to be interesting. So the 4 seed, no matter what for the Ducks, they will await the winner of 5 versus 12 on Wednesday. Ducks will play on Thursday. That does mean no Duck Insider for us, by the way. With the way our technology is, with our satellite window, if you want a little inside the broadcast, we can't do a Duck Insider from 1 to 2 and then go on the air for men's basketball at 2 o'clock. The satellite just doesn't work that way. So we will not have a Duck Insider next Thursday, but Ryan Milano will be with you all of next week while I head to Vegas. I don't know the next time I'm going to be in Las Vegas after this. That'll be odd. That will be odd. All right, quick timeout. When we come back, we're going to talk a little softball here from Coach Lombardi, here from Ariel Carlson. Doubleheader today, 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Schedule update for Oregon softball. Stick with us, Duck Insider. More coming on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Happy Friday, everybody. Best of luck to Oregon Track and Field today, tomorrow in Boston, the NCAA Indoor Championships. Also, reminder, spring forward on Sunday. Spring forward on Sunday. Adjust those clocks accordingly. I do it the night before. I still have a lot of analog clocks, actually. I'm not like it's not just the phone for me. I still have analog clocks. Scott's like, why? Chaos. Just absolute chaos. Yeah, spring forward this weekend. The Duck baseball team, that means they'll lose an hour of sleep while they're on the road in Phoenix. We'll talk with Ryan Milano about that, see if it's going to impact some things. For Oregon softball, though, now we know that it won't, because it's a 3 o'clock and a 6 o'clock first pitch scheduled. Doubleheader today with inclement weather in the forecast on Sunday. The Ducks and the Golden Bears adjusting the schedule. Will also be 2 o'clock tomorrow. Missy Lombardi earlier this week talked about the weekend ahead, the week that was. Coach Lombardi, brought to you by Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center, talking with the media, previewing softball's conference opener against a top 15 Cal team.
What are your just overall thoughts kind of after the weekend? I know you guys battled back in that second game against Maryland to get the win on Saturday. Just what were your thoughts after that game and kind of heading into Pac-12 play?
Yeah, I love that we finished with that game and it being our last game of our home tournament. Maryland's a tough team, and to get out in front of them. And Taylor, I love the way she pitched. I love what she did on the mound. And then from there, they got a couple runs. It felt like it was time for a pitching change. I thought Stevie came in and really just shut it out for us. I loved how aggressive we were early in the game, the squeeze bunt that we put down, just working together to score runs and just stay tough and be tough and finish against a really good Maryland team.
And just, I feel like the preseason is a good time for you as a coach to kind of figure out your lineup, your pitching rotation, just like where do you feel like you are in that process?
Yeah, I feel like we're in a good spot. I feel like, one, we played a really tough schedule. Two, I think we've gotten a lot of consistency with what our lineup is looking like. It's nice to see some athletes that haven't been healthy come and join us, which just adds to what we're already doing. I think we've got a deep pitching staff. I really like our pitching staff and what they're doing, and I think our defense has done a really, really good job.
Obviously, you've got a couple games to assess the team's performance. What do you think the biggest area of improvement is going to be going into Pac-12 play?
I just think what's nice about Pac-12 is you just get to start over. You know, you kind of go back to an 0-0 record. Just like when you get to postseason, it's the same thing. You kind of go to an 0-0 record. And so it allows athletes who feel like they're doing well to continue on with what we're doing. Maybe athletes that get an opportunity to reset, they get to do that as well. So it's just nice. We've played a third of our season and we have 2/3 left. We've got a ton of softball. And I think about in previous years after we've completed PAC and feeling like we are really prepared for postseason because of PAC. I feel that way right now going into PAC. We are really prepared for PAC because of what we have faced up to this point.
Has your perception for the team's strength changed at all after this first third of the games?
As far as what?
Just in general, what do you think the team's strength is?
I think our strength is really just being able to produce runs in many different ways. I think we've got unbelievable speed. That just is tough to defend. I think we have a group that really connects and loves to play together. I think we're just in a really good position going into the Pac in all areas. I feel really good about this team.
I know the weather today is beautiful, a little bit more beautiful than you maybe saw some weather this weekend. But what does it mean to you to kind of start Pac-12 playing another ranked opponent here at home?
It's just a part of Pac. That's what Pac's all about. Like now we go into our super regionals. Like every weekend we go into now, it's a super regional, and just understanding how to get caught up in one game, at a time, one inning, one pitch, and just go through it. It's a grind, but that's what we love about playing in the Pac.
Have you put in any thought that this is the last time that you'll be going into Pac-12 play?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of discussion on it. It's bittersweet. I hate that this is the last year of the Pac. I'm excited for what's next too. I don't think anybody really likes change, but we'll see what happens with that. But I just think the Pac is it's the best softball conference in the country. So, I'm going to miss that for sure.
Yeah, we've seen that year in, year out, particularly on the diamond, and in really all women's sports especially. The Pac-12 has been the best. It's a fact, right? The Pac-12 has been the best in all of those different sports, and particularly on the diamond, more national championships than anybody. We're talking about the inclement weather, though, with the softball team able to adjust and reschedule. It is officially ski season. Our friends at Hoodoo, it's here. You can always head to hoodoo.com. Season sales, deals, events for the entire family. Hoodoo Ski Area, your locally owned and operated destination for winter fun. Proud sponsor of Oregon Athletics, a longtime supporter of the Ducks, thanks to our friends at Hoodoo. Meanwhile, a local person, I don't know if Ariel Carlson's a skier. We'll have to ask her. But she has been on an absolute tear to start this season. Really has picked up where she left off a year ago. Ariel Carlson, a local product, talking with the media about the conference opener at the Jane this weekend.
What did you think of the team's performance this weekend?
I thought we definitely had some really high highs and just some low lows, but I feel like it was fun being back at home, and we got to experience that feeling of playing at the Jane again. So I definitely saw the potential that we had for sure. So I'm excited to carry that forward.
What do you think it's going to take to get some of that consistency going forward?
Just firing in all cylinders. Pitching had their moments, hitting had their moments, defense too, just getting it all working together. We have a very close team, so once one person gets going, we all kind of follow. So just getting that first run, I think, is super important for us.
Just being a leader on this team, like now that the preseason is kind of over and you're headed into Pac-12, just what has your message been to the team kind of preparing for some big games heading forward?
Yeah, just to have fun. That's been the biggest thing for me my senior year, is just don't have a lot of time left, so I'm just trying to enjoy what I have left and be very present and be where my feet are. But going into this weekend, we're just focused on Cal, and that's about it. When you look at the Pac-12 as a whole, it can be very daunting, but when you break it up into small, manageable chunks, it's a lot easier. So that's all we're trying to do. We're just focused on that first game.
And I know talking to the team before the season, you guys I feel like a word that I describe you guys a lot when you're talking to a lot of the seniors is that you guys kind of want to be unshakable. Like even if you have a bad at-bat, if you have a bad game, if you have a bad weekend, you guys want to be able to bounce back and be stronger. How would you rate that so far this season?
I think we could be doing a better job. That's one of the things that we talked about, is just having it being okay playing messy and ugly softball. It doesn't have to be perfect all the time. If the opponent scores right off the bat, it's okay. We know we're going to score more. So just kind of taking that mindset on a little bit better. It's something that we talk about, but I think we could just execute it a little better.
Anything else?
No.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So last Pac-12 season, you grew up watching Pac-12 softball.
Yeah.
And your last season is the last Pac-12 season. Is it just kind of weird to you?
Yeah, it's very weird. I cannot believe it's the last Pac-12 season, especially after we just had the first Pac-12 tournament. But I'm excited to send it out on a good note.
Is it a challenge for you guys to hey, you want to be the last champion?
Yes, that is something that we've talked about. It would be very cool.
I love the honesty from Ariel Carlson. Look, hey, I'm in the same boat. I grew up watching this conference, rooting for this conference. And it is bittersweet to see that both the Diamond Sports are starting the Pac-12 season for the final time here tonight. It's odd. This afternoon, I guess, technically. 3 o'clock, a doubleheader for Oregon softball starting at 3. Second game scheduled for 6 o'clock. Tickets, by the way, are still valid. Tickets for Friday will be good for both games of the doubleheader. If you purchase tickets for Sunday's game, you're going to receive a credit that can be redeemed for a ticket to any remaining regular season home game. The pink game will be rescheduled, promoting breast cancer awareness in general. That event rescheduled for a later date. Oregon softball season starting today. I love that from Eric Carlson. Like, yeah, we've talked about it. Win the last one, Not very many teams get to win the last game. Even fewer teams get to win the last championship, at least in the current iteration of the conference. Love that. Let's talk a little baseball. When we come back, Ryan Milano joining us. He's on the scene from the desert. The Ducks on the road to start Pac-12 play for Mark Wasikowski's baseball squad. Arizona State, 5:30 tonight. Going to talk with Ryan Milano, who will have the call for you coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Imagine all the fun you can have this spring break in a new Toyota. Woo-hoo! I'm having fun and I'm not even there.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends April 1st.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Imagine all the fun you can have this spring break in a new Toyota. Woo-hoo! I'm having fun and I'm not even there.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today. Toyota, let's go places. Dealer inventory may vary. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Event ends April 1st.
This is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends, surprise parties, camps, birthdays? The same way you plan for the important moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
We're back in the Country Financial Studio. It is Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. This is probably an odd thing for Ryan Milano. I think it's the first time that we've ever had Ryan join via Zoom. Normally, I'm the one that joins him on Zoom. Did you come on last year during a softball trip at some point?
Yeah, when we were down in Arizona for the Pac-12 championships for softball.
So it's only when you're in Arizona. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So we were just discussing during the break. It's 60 degrees here. Beautiful sunshine, great day to play 2 at the Jane. So I'm in a short sleeve polo, and Ryan's in the desert in a sweatshirt.
Yeah, it was actually really surprising. Yesterday, I was going to go to a spring training game, was at that spring training game, and then the sky opened up and the game got canceled before it actually got played. But don't worry, the hoodie will leave when I actually leave the hotel room and go to the ball.
Have you been to a spring training before, especially being from Arizona? I feel like you're probably like a savant of spring training.
I was a bat boy at spring training growing up.
Well, here's a story. Tell us more.
I was a bat boy for the Chicago Cubs for a game when I was like 11 years old.
Only for a game? You got fired?
Well, no. So I was the replacement.
Oh.
They asked me. I was like 5th on the depth chart. I don't know how I got in there, but My buddy was the bat boy on the other side for the Angels, and so I was in the Cubs dugout. It was split squad. Junior Lake was the best player in that game in my dugout, and then my best friend was over on the other side. He has Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, Josh Hamilton, all of them. They just came to the team.
So you didn't Wally Pipp the number one guy on the roster?
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
Well, it's okay because you ended up here. How much did that Bat Boy experience inform your baseball knowledge and fandom?
Moderately. I was a fan certainly before, was a fan afterwards. It made me a big Junior Lake guy, but his professional career didn't really pan out that well.
Good. All right. Ryan Milano joining us tonight, 5:15 pregame show across the Oregon Sports Network. Oregon at Arizona State to open up the Pac-12 season. Ryan, I think if I told you that the Ducks would be 9-3 heading into the first Pac-12 game, you and I both would probably say, yeah, we'll take it, right?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely what we would say. And it's not been a cakewalk through the non-conference either. Oregon's scheduled some really difficult teams. The Ducks just swept Grand Canyon in the midweek, and Grand Canyon's a team that is projected to win their conference. They're a team that's won their conference 5 out of the last 6 years. So, and go back to Texas with Globe Life and the big caliber of opponents there, and UC Santa Barbara. Oregon's schedule really tough in the non-conference. And so, yeah, I think Oregon's happy with the 9-3 non-conference schedule going into Pac-12 play tonight.
What'd you take away from the midweek pair? Because Grand Canyon, I mean, that's a team that's known for offense, good program at that level. They've certainly beaten a lot of Pac-12 teams in midweek games. What'd you take away from the 2 wins in the desert already?
Yeah, well, if Grand Canyon is known for offense, then Oregon must really be known for offense the way the Ducks swung the bat. 21 hits on Wednesday. It's the season high for Oregon. And Oregon hit 4 home runs on Wednesday, 3 home runs on Tuesday. Mason Neville's hit home runs in 3 straight games. This Oregon team can hit. Actually, on Wednesday's game, Justin Casella opened up with the very first pitch of the game, a 1-0 score, because he put it over the left field fence.
Right.
So I think that my takeaways from this weekend is Oregon can really hit, and Oregon has a lot of depth in the pitching staff as well. Ian Umlaut did a fantastic job on Wednesday, threw 4 perfect innings out of the bullpen, and the Ducks so far throughout this year have outpaced opposing bullpens with their own. The Ducks have come back in a lot of games because the bullpen for Oregon has been able to hold teams, and the offense has been able to catch up when the Ducks do get in them those seldom early deficits that Oregon has found themselves in.
Yeah, I thought that the Tuesday-Wednesday pairing, those midweek 2-game series are really tough on a pitching staff. It's often the deepest pitching staff that gets wins there, and I agree, Ryan. I mean, you and I said going into that was going to be a key. The bullpen has been, I think, a real bright spot for the Ducks. I know they'd like to maybe settle into the rotation. We'll see what happens this weekend, but the bullpen's a bright spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Wazikowski mentioned that Oregon traveled a few more pitchers because there are more games this weekend. The Ducks normally travel 12 to 13 pitchers. This week, there's 16 pitchers on the road trip. And Coach Wazikowski also mentioned, and you'll hear it later in the Toyota Coaches Corner on the pregame show, where he talked about how he was going to use more pitchers over the midweek, but Ian Umlaut had just such a great performance that, priority one is win the game. And when someone throws 4 perfect innings out of the bullpen, got to keep him in the ball game, and that's exactly what Oregon did.
You know, Umlaut's a veteran, but I think sort of came on to the scene later in the season as the Ducks' depth in the pitching staff last year took a hit for a variety of reasons. What did he do so well? What did you see from him? How can he build on it?
Just a lot of soft contact. In a ballpark like Arizona and at GCU, the ball really flies, but Ian Umlaut got a lot of fly ball outs. Of his 12 outs, 9 of them were fly outs, 2 balls on the ground and a strikeout. He just induced a lot of really soft contact, and his defense was back there to back him up. Not like he even made it really difficult on the defense. Routine flies all around.
Mason Neville, you talked about him earlier. I mean, you talk about earning your spot into the lineup. The Ducks really have 4 starting outfielders right now, and the DH allows you to have all 4 of them in the lineup depending on what happens elsewhere. We'll get to that in a second. I mean, Mason Neville on a tear right now.
Yeah, 4 starting outfielders, 5 starting outfielders. Antonero started.
That's right.
Both corners over the midweek. I don't know how many starting outfielders Oregon has. And Waz mentioned that there's just talented hitters on this team. It's really hard to assemble a lineup for this coaching staff because there's 15 players that could be slotted into the lineup on any given day. And well, that's a mentality that this team has to take where, well, yeah, if you are out of the lineup a certain day, then well, you're probably going to be in the lineup later because there's just so much talent. You can't get discouraged by not being penciled in. For Mason Neville specifically, I asked Waz that exact same question this morning as well. And Waz talked about the fact that Mason Neville is making it really hard on the coaching staff for who's going to get the starts in the outfield. Coming into the season, it was Neville and Bryce Betcher battling for that center field spot. And I think they're still battling for that center field spot because both of them have played incredibly good ball at the plate, specifically leading up to this point in the season, leading up into Pac-12 play. And when you hit 3 home runs in 3 games, it's really hard to keep that bat out of the lineup, and Neville's making it really hard on the coaching staff.
Ryan Milano with us, 5:15 pregame show for Oregon baseball tonight. Pac-12 play beginning at Arizona State. You know, isn't it a good thing that we're sitting here talking about how the offense has really got it going? And we're not even talking about how good the defense is in the outfield, because that's what Bryce Betcher, I think, was known for coming into the season. Mason Neville's a heck of a defender. That's why they were competing for center field. But the defensive aspect, Ryan, of the outfield, you know, that we haven't even gotten there yet. I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's important. Oregon can put really anybody in the outfield that can cover a lot of ground. There was a defensive alignment with Justin Casella in left, Bryce Betcher in center, and Mason Neville in right. And well, all of those guys have experience in center field. That's where Casella played at Elon. That was the battle coming into the season with Neville and Betcher, who was going to take over the center field spot for Oregon. That's a defensive outfield. And then you have someone like Ansoneros who can slot in there with his defensive versatility, where he's played catcher, first base, and the corner outfield slots this year. Jeffrey Hurd's played in the outfield. Oregon has played incredibly solid defense in that outfield, and they've got a lot of athletes out there that can roam, and we saw it at home last weekend against UC Santa Barbara. Bryce Betcher specifically can get to just about any ball, and the rest of the defenders aren't behind him by very much, if at all, in terms of their defensive aspect.
How about Ansoneros? I mean, the versatility of him, that's really something. You know, a guy who's battled injury in his career, came in as one heck of a catcher, a switch-hitting catcher, but, man, I mean, Ryan, like, now he can play corner outfield. We've seen him play first base. Like, that, one, I think, says a lot about Ansoneros, but two, it says a lot about the depth Oregon has, and he's got to find a spot to make an impact.
Yeah, it also says a lot about Coach Hinkle and the ability that he's done to get Arrows acclimated. I called Ansoneros in summer ball 2 years back, and he was a catcher. And so I talked with him over the offseason this year, and he said, well, yeah, I might be trying out a few different other positions. And I was like, oh, okay, like maybe in a pinch, you might be in those other positions. No, he's getting out in those other positions, and he's playing serviceable defense in all of those positions around the field. And I think he could play all 9, really, if he was asked to. And to keep his bat in the lineup, that's something important. Someone who can switch hit, someone who can hit for contact, someone who can find the gaps. Ansoneros reached base, I think it was 5 times on Wednesday. He continues to find his way on. And similar to Mason Neville, he's someone who started the season on the bench. That's making it really hard on the coaching staff to keep him there.
A couple things on Arrows. You know, you and I talked about last weekend how he went lefty versus lefty, which you don't see very often. He's spoken about that a little bit to inform fans and catch us up on that subject.
Yeah, so he went lefty-lefty last weekend when he thought the matchup was right. He's hit from the right side this weekend. He's had success both from the right and the left side. I really do think that it was just matchup last weekend. He liked what he saw out of that left-handed arm, thought it was better for his left-handed swing, but he can hit from both sides, and he's returned to hitting from both sides.
How about that? Okay, and then I also asked you that we would follow up on this from last week. How many gloves did Ansoneros travel with to Arizona?
So he has 2 that are on his person. He has 2 catcher's gloves, but he stashes his other fielding gloves in other people's bags. So I think that the total is 4, but they're kind of spread out all amongst the place. So he doesn't have enough room in his own bag to carry all the gloves that he needs, but I think the count is 4.
So we got to find out who's responsible for these other gloves. You know, you got to find that out by the end of the weekend. Like, Anson, so what happens if player X loses your bag or your glove because his bag? Boy, that is relying on teammates right there.
Yeah, absolutely. it happens a lot. There's so much tossing back and forth between equipment. There's these new pencil bats that Oregon's debuting, and they all look just about the same. And there's so many players that are like, oh, let me get a pencil bat. Let me get a swing with it. There's a lot of sharing of equipment on this team.
I haven't seen the pencil bats in person yet, but I saw them obviously on the live stream from Grand Canyon listening to you. You gotta what do they look like in person? I mean, what are we talking about here?
We're talking classic Dixon Ticonderoga. The handle is the graphite. It goes up to the wood. Then there's the green metal in between. At the end of the bat, it's the pink eraser. It is school bag pencil, wooden pencil that they're bringing out in the back.
Do you know the backstory yet? Have you figured it out?
I don't. I haven't figured it out.
I haven't either.
I think that they just like the bats. I've asked them about it, and they're like, I've asked some of the players, and they say, yeah, we just like the style of the bat. And I asked Jeffrey Hurd about, where do you want to hit it? Do you want to hit it on the yellow wooden part? Do you want to hit it on the metal or the eraser? And he's like, I think right where the wood goes to metal, in like the traditional pencil sense, is right where the sweet spot of the bat.
Well, mechanical pencil guy. I haven't used one that I needed a sharpener on in an awful while. Do you have any Dixon Ticonderogas in the bag for the broadcast tonight?
I'm also a mechanical pencil guy. Yeah. I wanted one as a prop, but I don't have one.
I think that the next time the Ducks at least wear the throwback uniforms, you and I are gonna have to throw it back to old school pencils, and we'll get like wood. We all know what I'm talking about. Like you'd get like the little splinters and the little wood burn on your finger. Yeah, that's a thing.
I'm with it. I absolutely agree.
Yeah. You talked a bit about the depth. We've talked a lot really about the depth. Jacob Walsh, it had to be good to see him get it going with the bat, Ryan. That's making it hard on the coaches too, I'd imagine, heading into Pac-12 play.
Yeah, and hard to imagine Jacob Walsh even being considered as depth when he comes into the season as this returning first baseman who's had so much success. And then it's been really difficult once again for him to stay out of the lineup. And when he's gotten his opportunities, especially this weekend, he's really capitalized on them, where gets a pinch hit at bat and hits a pinch hit home run. First time for Oregon in 2 years where they've had a pinch hit home run straight off the bench. And then he hits another home run, and he just continues to hit. And Jacob Walsh is doing a great job of continuing to stay in the lineup and forcing the coaching staff to make it really difficult on them. He hit a ball a few days ago. I think you might have it on your desk, actually. I think it landed about in Eugene.
Yeah, I heard you tape measure shot. We didn't have TrackMan data at Grand Canyon, I take it. We don't have a projected distance.
No TrackMan. I asked about it. I tried to find out some data. There was some discrepancy over the distances on what we were actually getting. So no TrackMan data. Nothing that I think is verifiable enough for me to use.
It went a long way.
It went far. So there's a track outside of right field at Grand Canyon, and I think it landed about 50 meters down that track.
So it would have landed on Pape Field.
Yeah.
Good stuff. 5:15 pregame show tonight. There's no TV broadcast, but there is an Arizona State live stream that you can sync up to Ryan on the call across the Oregon Sports Network. 5:35, the official first pitch, Oregon, Arizona State. Ryan, sum it up, keys to success. What's going to take?
RJ Gordon, he's got to continue. I talked with Waz a lot, and momentum's only as good as the next starting pitcher. For the lineup, it's only as good as the starting pitcher you face, and for the pitching staff, it's only as good as your next man in your outing. And RJ Gordon's had a lot of success against Arizona State. I think his best career outing of his career came against the Sun Devils 2 years back. He pitched his most innings. Were you at that game? Do you remember that game?
I was.
He went 6 1/3 against the Sun Devils.
I was at that game. That was one of the moments where I realized I could never live in Arizona. That series, that weekend. Yep,
it was hot. By the way, little preview to the history of the matchup coming up on Sunday. I was having dinner with Gavin Grant, and he said the most fun inning of Oregon baseball history happened on a Sunday game 2 years back.
Yeah,
so
I remember.
That will be my history of the matchup for Sunday. That's a little tease to tune into the pregame.
Yeah, I remember that too. I look forward to hearing you recount it. I had a lot of fun in that inning. The broadcaster sounds good when the team is good. He's Ryan Milano, a 5:15 pregame show from the desert tonight. Ryan, travel safe. Don't get sunburned, buddy.
I'll try my best. I am losing that battle.
Look out for the pillar in the middle of your booth. It almost took Todd Miles' head off one time, all right?
I'll put like a protective padding against it.
Smart.
If a ball goes back there, I'm an athlete. I'll be able to get there.
Put that padding up.
Probably
Ryan
not.
Milano, he'll have the call for you tonight. Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it, buddy. We're going to get a timeout. When we come back, how about a victory over the Huskies? That's right. Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
And here's Heather with the weather.
Well, it's beautiful out there, sunny and 75, almost a little chilly in the shade. Now, let's get a read on the inside of your car. It is hot. You've only been parked a short time and it's already 99 degrees in there. Let's not leave children in the back seat while running errands. It only takes a few minutes for their body temperatures to rise, and that could be fatal.
Cars get hot, fast, and can be deadly. Never leave a child in a car. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you in the Country Financial Studio. We didn't get to Jade Mays today. If you want to see that interview, head to the Go Ducks YouTube. The Ducks are in action in Boston. The Indoor Track and Field Championships are underway. More updates follow along the Oregon Track and Field social media. And then our guy Zach Lawson on GoDucks.com will have an update for you tonight and tomorrow, I believe, coming on GoDucks.com. The Ducks looking for a medal finish. I think that the women have a good chance. Looking at the projections and the amount of, truthfully, the amount of distance runners for the women that have a chance to score some points and potentially get the Ducks on the podium, I think the Oregon women have a good chance. Indoor Track and Field Championships underway here today and continuing tomorrow. Meanwhile, Oregon softball. The Ducks will play at 3 o'clock today, if you're live with us here in the 1 o'clock hour. And then 6 o'clock tonight, doubleheader. Then 2 o'clock tomorrow, so the Ducks will play doubleheader today. One game Saturday at the Jane. More details, GoDucks.com. Men's tennis with the win over the Huskies yesterday. The W, by the way, stands for win. Go Ducks.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit